Happening now, mobs of minors fight in the streets of Jamestown. With 2 people stabbed during altercations, we hear from law enforcement who are working to control the chaos. And the latest on a crash that forced a pickup truck down an embankment in Chautauqua County. Plus, we're breaking down highlights from last night's State of the County address.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, our top story today. Jamestown's troubling youth is to blame for a string of brawls on the city's south side that led to 2 separate stabbings on Wednesday. Bronson Rasmussen joins us live in the newsroom with our exclusive coverage that our crews caught right on camera. Bronson?
Justin, officers of the Jamestown Police Department were first dispatched to the areas of Linden and Park Streets just after 2 p.m. on Wednesday for the first reported attack. Our crews caught 2 mobs of minors in conflict, screaming vulgarities and throwing bricks at each other outside an apartment house at 19 Park Street. Authorities were called to the location 3 times within a few short hours, with most of the on-duty officers on scene. Jamestown police struggled to keep up with new calls coming in.
We do what we can with what we have. I think we definitely have enough resources to keep the city safe, so we're just going to keep doing what we do and try and keep everybody as safe as possible.
The 2 groups, Sergeant Tim Mason suspects, were also involved in a fight outside of Jamestown High School on Tuesday. Since then, the students involved tell us that they were expelled and no longer go to school.
Most of them are friends at one point.
Yeah, most of them were friends with us at one point.
The 2 groups clashed on 3 separate occasions in broad daylight. The final altercation ended when one of the youngsters' father was stabbed in the back multiple times. He has since been taken to UPMC Hammett via medical helicopter. In many cases like this, police say the parents share the blame as much as their children.
That's one of the toughest parts. Sometimes the parents aren't present and sometimes they're actively involved in making the issue worse.
JPD maintains a juvenile bureau to take action against underage suspects. Officers tell us controlling their child's behavior is a parental responsibility.
If they continue to allow their children to act this way, they can be charged criminally. So it's definitely something that's we've advised several parents that have picked up their children that if this continues, that they will potentially be charged for it. So
we have reached out to the Jamestown Public School District about this issue and if there is anything educators can do to help control these kids. A spokesperson tells us due to privacy laws, the district must defer any further comment during this investigation of the incident to the Jamestown Police Department. Reporting live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you very much. Other news we're following today, a pickup truck driver miraculously escaped without injury after barreling down an embankment in Chautauqua County. On Wednesday afternoon, the Westfield Fire Department responded to Route 5 near the Barcelona Harbor for a motor vehicle crash. First responders located a truck down an embankment with the vehicle's driver stuck inside. The Chautauqua County Technical Rescue Team assisted crews with stabilizing the vehicle before the lone occupant was extricated from it. While the subject was transported to Westfield Memorial Hospital for evaluation, officials say they were surprisingly uninjured. A Jamestown resident held at Chautauqua County's jail is accused of smashing a phone within the facility. On Monday, the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office filed additional charges against Bartlett. Bartlett, who was recently accused of illegal drug and stolen vehicle possession, is awaiting court proceedings within that facility. Now, while in custody, the 38-year-old is accused of intentionally smashing the facility's phone located within a cell block, breaking it into multiple pieces, deputies say. Well, Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell, he delivered his State of the County address on Wednesday, highlighting the success and challenges that Chautauqua County faces. Our Alyssa Wright breaks down his speech's highlights.
Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell focused on 3 major points in his address Wednesday night.
Strengthening our communities, bringing economic revitalization to Chautauqua County, and investing in our future. I also pledge to create a more effective and efficient county government.
The executive emphasized the importance of conservative budgeting.
As of today, our 2022 contribution to our general fund balance is $19.4 million. This contribution is created in part by holding our teams to fiscally responsible budgets, an increase in the tax foreclosure auction, an overdue settlement of the tribal compact, as well as continued success in our sales tax revenue.
To assist in strengthening our community, the county executive has merged the mental hygiene department with social services to provide better resources to those in need.
While working with each team to break down barriers, we determined that this new integration and refocus was in the best interests of the community to provide a continuity of care for those who are being served by both departments.
In the end, Wendell says communication and focus on all aspects of Chautauqua County is key.
Moving forward, I am excited to continue to lead this administration and provide workable solutions as we move Chautauqua County into an even more prosperous future.
Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Alyssa, thank you very much. Let's switch gears now and get a first check of our weather forecast and a look outside of Lakeside Park's weather camera there in Mayville. And the rain is coming down. Pretty common theme we're seeing across the area today. Chief Weather Forecaster Andrew Stevenson joins us with more views from around the region, Andrew, and the spring rain really soaking it up out there.
From Mayville out to Olean Sky Camera, and we got some rain showers falling out there as well, with some fog also out there in Olean. First defense Doppler radar shows those rain showers moving through now. These rain showers are moving through out ahead of a cold front that's going to move through later this afternoon and into the evening, and behind that cold front, precipitation will come to an end as we head into the night. The high yesterday, we made it to a high of 49 degrees. The low was 34. The records for today, 81 is the record high. Set back in 2012, and the record low of -1 set back in 1906. So the forecast for the rest of the afternoon out there, cloudy skies with periods of rain. You might even hear a rumble of thunder or two this afternoon as that cold front moves through. Highs today will reach the upper 40s, the lower 50s ahead of that cold front, and then behind the cold front, the temperatures will drop as we head into tonight and into tomorrow. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, we'll see you back in a bit. Thank you very much. As we continue, an update on the push to reform bail reform, what New York State's governor's plan is this spring. And later, how New York is cracking down on illegal marijuana shops. Stay with us. That and more right after this short break.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, channel 716.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
In Albany Wednesday, the governor talked about her proposals for bail reform. Our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein talks to lawmakers and advocates and gives us an update on the issue in the legislature.
With the final budget plan deadline around the corner, bail reform remains a popular topic of debate in budget negotiations. In her budget plan, Governor Hochul proposes eliminating the least restrictive means, a standard for judges to set bail. Last week, the Senate and the Assembly rejected this proposal in their one-house budget resolutions. But the governor continues to emphasize this change to the bail law, which, if passed, would be the state's third change to the bail law since 2019, when legislation passed to eliminate cash bail for some criminal charges.
I want to make it absolutely clear that judges have both the authority and the accountability for these important decisions. And that's why I proposed a very simple change.
Senator James Skoufis, a Democrat supportive of the governor's proposal, says repeated offenses of violent crime are increasing in the state, and judges need more assistance from the legislature to address this.
So this clarifies any confusion that might be in some courtrooms and provides a tool to judges to be able to remand violent reoffenders as they should be remanded when they're back in a court facing a second or a third or a fourth charge.
But many bail reform advocates who traveled to Albany today, chanting throughout the Capitol building, expressed concern for Hochul's proposal.
And rolling back bail reform isn't the answer, and continuing to focus on it isn't going to solve the problem. What we really need to be doing is focusing on the solutions that actually reduce crime and that actually keep our communities whole and safe.
Some lawmakers who oppose Hochul's bail proposals highlight bail is pre-trial before an individual is determined guilty or not guilty.
We don't need to lock up people who are poor, who can't afford to post bail.
In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
People on Medicaid across New York State need to be aware a pandemic-era suspension will soon be coming to an end. Since 2020, Medicaid recipients have not had to recertify their eligibility, but now they will need to re-enroll. Starting March 2023, all Medicaid enrollees in New York will have to re-enroll to maintain their coverage. Now, health officials, they're urging all of their patients enrolled in Medicaid programs to ensure their information is up to date so people are not at risk of losing it. Some doctors feel the priority at hand for enrollees is to make sure they're prepared for the change. If someone enrolled through the Department of Social Services, they'll need to contact DSS directly.
If you don't receive a letter, then you're at risk for losing your health care coverage. New York State does not forward your mail to your new residents. So if your address is incorrect with the New York State Department of Health, you're at risk at losing your coverage.
Additional ways to check if your information is on file and if it's correct, it can be found on the New York State of Health website. We have a link to that at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, Governor Kathy Hochul is proposing a new legislative effort in an attempt to improve New York State's cannabis industry. Governor Hochul wants to crack down on what's known as sticker shops. WNY Alexandra Dern has more for us today.
This law would ensure a heavily regulated cannabis industry that protects consumers and legal sales. She wants to improve the structure of selling legal cannabis and crack down on the shops that gift you pot with the purchase of a sticker, a legal loophole. The owner of one Elmira sticker shop, World Peace, tells me he's skeptical.
The bottom line is that we will always follow the absolute letter of the law. So with that being said, I don't have a lot of faith that the bill is going to pass.
James Peckham, the owner of World Peace in Elmira, says his management staff is not worried about being shut down. He read through Governor Hochul's proposal for new legislation to essentially crack down on sticker shops. Peckham says the chances seem slim for a 35-page bill such as this to pass.
The chances of them being able to stick to a single topic and have unanimous decision or whatever votes they need to get it just seems unlikely.
In the proposal, Hochul says all cannabis retailers must file a properly completed application for a certificate of registration to sell cannabis. Peckham wishes the state would make it easier on sticker shop owners to get those certificates.
I wish they would put more effort into supporting their existing cannabis applicants and the people that are trying to get through this process than trying to, put down all the people who are just trying to, help the cannabis community in our area.
In the proposal, Hochul lists off the penalties for people who fail to obtain a certificate. Those penalties include $10,000 fines per day for unlicensed storefronts. Peckham says world peace wouldn't shut down unless law enforcement had the resources to actually enforce this law.
Even if this was passed, unless it has some sort of wording in it that changes the existing law and removes the gifting clause, they still don't have anything to really be able to truly prosecute or shut us down.
These legal cannabis dispensaries are few and far between across New York State. The closest legal dispensary in the Twin Tiers is based in Ithaca, William James, and that dispensary just opened up last week.
All right, Alexandra Dern with WNY, our news partner, reporting. Alex, thank you. Well, Tuesday in Harrisburg, the House Appropriations Committee continued its budget hearing with the focus on Pennsylvania's state system of higher education, also known as PASSE. Now, PASSE consists of 14 universities throughout the Commonwealth with about 85,000 students pursuing degrees. Now, PASSE relies on the state for about a third of their funding. In Governor Josh Shapiro's proposed budget, he would set aside a 2% increase in funding, which some say is not enough. The state system has made many cuts in recent years to avoid tuition increases, but PASSE Chancellor Dan Greenstein says it's going to be impossible to continue a tuition freeze with the current proposal at hand.
If we are to get 2%, that represents a 2/3% increase in a 6% inflation year. I would go to the board and recommend a tuition increase. I would have to.
Lawmakers have until the end of June to sort things out through Governor Shapiro's proposals and finalize the budget. Well, coming up next, a look at the new action in Washington to pull back congressional war powers. And later, workers at Starbucks locations across the nation, they picketed the coffee shop chain on Wednesday. We'll explain why coming up. But first, Andrew has a full look at our weather forecast and when this foggy, rainy, well, still warm out there though, day might come to an end and bring some clearer skies.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
Slow down, and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights,
Vests.
please give us some room.
slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
to help you,
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. And move over.
move over.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
On this episode of Lead and Lures, pro staffer and lethal lady Caitlin Armstrong takes out her big Ohio buck. Months of hard work, dedication, and scouting have led her to this moment. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Lead and Lures on channel 716 Roku TV. And if you want to see more of Caitlin Armstrong, follow her on YouTube, TickTock, and Instagram at Caitlin Armstrong.
Has been quite the experience.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Currently in downtown Jamestown, cloudy skies out there. Current temperatures 50 degrees at the Jamestown Airport as of noon with a southwest wind of 10 miles per hour. Across the northeast right now, low pressure is currently centered up across Canada. It's going to drag a cold front through the region later this afternoon, and rain showers will continue out ahead of that cold front and then slowly come to an end. Temperatures this afternoon will peak around 2 p.m. this afternoon in the lower 50s, around 53 degrees at 2 p.m. And then as that cold front moves through the region, those temperatures will begin to drop off by 4 or 5 o'clock. We're looking at temperatures in the mid-upper 40s. And then later this evening into the night, temperatures will drop back down into the 30s. So let's time it out on Future Scan. Future Scan shows those rain showers moving through this afternoon. There might even be a rumble of thunder, but as that cold front crosses behind the cold front, precipitation will, for the most part, come to an end tonight. There might be a couple rain showers early tomorrow morning, but most of tomorrow will be dry as high pressure drifts across the region. Might even see a couple peaks of the sunshine tomorrow afternoon before we do it all again Friday night into Saturday as another system across the region. Saturday could bring some more widespread rain to the region. Might even get a little wintry mix out of that system. So again, for tonight, widespread rain will come to an end, and then mostly cloudy skies through the rest of the night with a northwest wind of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Low temperatures tonight will drop back down into upper 20s to lower 30s. And now, how about the forecast? The next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Temperatures tomorrow behind the front drop back down into the lower 40s. We'll return back to the upper 40s, close to 50 on Saturday. We'll dry it out once again Sunday into Monday as high pressure returns with temperatures in the lower 40s. And then bring in another chance for some rain and snow showers by the middle of next week, and temperatures back down in the mid-30s by Wednesday.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Well, let's now get some headlines from across the nation. And nearly 20 years ago, the U.S. began the Iraq invasion. Now, recently, the U.S. Senate took a step forward to repeal the congressional authorization that justified the war. It's known as the AUMF, the Authorization for Use of Military Force. Senators on both sides of the aisle say it's important for Congress to reassert their constitutional power of declaring and ending wars. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are looking to claw back congressional powers over military strikes and development. They argue that the war authorizations are no longer necessary and could be abused by future administrations if they are left on the books.
And they're really worried that any president could send troops abroad and we could get dug into these deep wars that we were in for a long time. After all, Afghanistan is the longest war the United States has ever fought.
Now, repealing the Iraq war policy does not impact the 2001 AUMF, which approved the following the September 11th attacks. Now, that to 2001 AUMF still gives the president a broad legal authority to conduct counterterrorism operations around the world. If this repeal does make it out of Congress, President Joe Biden has indicated that he will sign it into law. Well, it's a decision that could affect more than 150 million Americans and their respective audiences. The Biden administration is threatening to ban the popular video streaming service TickTock in the U.S. unless some changes are made. John Lawrence reports.
TikTok may soon be kicked off the block.
Some politicians have started talking about banning TikTok. Now, this could take TikTok away from all 150 million of you.
The company's CEO, Shou Chew, is scheduled to testify before Congress Thursday, where he is expected to tell House lawmakers that the app's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, is, quote, not an agent of China. Chew says he also plans to discuss
all that we're doing to protect Americans using the app and deliver on our mission to inspire creativity and to bring joy.
The Biden White House says it may prohibit the use of TikTok in the U.S. unless the app splits from ByteDance, citing the service could pose national security concerns.
Right now, over 150 million people's data is at risk, and that's something we're all concerned about, including, by the way, a lot of those people that are using those applications today that probably aren't aware of it.
But not everyone supports potentially pulling the plug specifically on TikTok.
American social media companies have been used to facilitate harm in tremendous ways. So let's talk about federal legislation to ensure the safety and security of everyone who uses social media.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Workers at Starbucks across the nation picketed the coffee chain Wednesday, and 2,000 employees at more than 100 stores took part. It comes just a day before the company's annual shareholder meeting. Also next week, Starbucks' CEO is scheduled to testify before a Senate committee on claims his company is trying to bust unions. Right now, more than 290 Starbucks have unionized, with union membership reaching 7,500 workers. But management has refused to negotiate with them, negating the collective bargaining power that is the main point of having a union in the first place. Well, coming up next, we highlight a new project here in our region that aims to protect birds of all flocks.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you got to keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this. You will find something.
You will find something new.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, Channel 716.
Welcome back. A favorite springtime activity for a growing number of people these days is bird watching. It seems some folks picked up the hobby during the pandemic, but there's also something we don't often think about when it comes to seeing more birds come back to our area this spring. Birds colliding with home windows. Erie News Now's Megan Selensky chatted with the Erie Bird Observatory to find out how we could help our feathery friends.
Anywhere from 300 to over 900 million birds die in North America each year after colliding with glass.
They run into the windows in the daytime because of like reflective glass or transparency. Either they don't see the window or they see like the beautiful plants we have inside our windows and want to go to them.
Emily Smith of BirdSafe Erie tells us that glass reflects the trees and sky, making it an inviting place for birds to fly into.
There's also a lot of problem at night because of interior and exterior lights. They disorient the birds, and that will cause them to run directly into the glass.
Many cities report high bird mortality rate from colliding with glass during the spring and fall season. Here at home, BirdSafe Erie is conducting research to determine the extent of the bird mortality during migration season.
The birds kind of take a reprieve from traveling thousands of miles from South and Central America going to Canada for the summer. And just before the lakeshore, they kind of take a stop, take a breath, eat dinner, and then they move onward.
Smith tells us that the project relies heavily on volunteers, and they're turning to the Erie community for your help.
Right now, we're seeking volunteers that can dedicate at least 1 day per week. We're estimating less than 1 hour in the morning for 8 weeks.
What is a typical shift for a volunteer going to look like? For people that want to volunteer, what are they going to be expected to do?
A typical shift would be meeting at approximately 7 in the morning. They'll walk the designated route that they're given. These buildings, again, we've worked with Green Building Alliance to get approval to look close to the windows, look behind bushes, things like that for any deceased or injured birds. And once they collect those, they will bring any animal back to me. And then we are working with Carnegie in Pittsburgh for any deceased animal, and then Tamarack for any injured animal.
If you are interested in volunteering, there will be a volunteer information and training session this Saturday, March 25th at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center. Megan Selensky, Erie News Now.
All right, Megan, thank you very much. Certainly a lot to think about there with our feathery friends out there, because that's the tough thing, you know. We have these windows, and I can understand the confusion for sure. So good to see a group trying to help out. Well, that's going to do it for our news today. Of course, we're always on at WNYNewsNow.com and in our free mobile app. We'll leave you with this live look outside of, here, our window over downtown Jamestown. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.